Hi legends, it's the EnglishSimmer here, and as we all know, hindsight is 2020 when it comes to The Sims 4. I haven't done a video like this pretty much since we got the first 3 kits for The Sims 4. I obviously didn't have any clue as to what kits were going to become in this franchise. I had no idea that they were going to kick stuff packs right out the door, may they rest in peace. And I would have never expected that, 2 years on, we would have 19 of these little buggers. So I thought I would do a version of a video that I did a couple of years ago that I also know Plumbella did a couple of years ago, and that is, would I buy these blanks if I wasn't a game changer, if I wasn't part of the creator network, if I basically didn't receive these codes for free from The Sims 4, and also obviously if I wasn't a YouTuber who was covering releases of The Sims 4, because we all know if I still did this as my career, being in or out of the creator network, I would still buy probably every piece of content because I would want to create videos for you lot. So I've created my one and only trusty tier maker. I've grown really fond of this. I'm basically using the TikTok sound that I absolutely love. For me, this one's 50-50, no or I hate these. I didn't want to add an I might hate these even more because I feel like we get the gist. It took me a few kits to kind of like get the full picture, and I feel like now in 2022 I am a lot better at looking like critically at these kits from a personal standpoint and being like, do I think I'm really gonna get use out of this? Do I think it's worth that £5 price point? Spoiler alert, I still don't think kits are worth the £5 price point. I don't think it's going to be lowered, unfortunately. For me, this one's 50-50. Is sort of like if I were younger and I were like asking someone for a present, like a relative for a birthday present or a Christmas present, if they had no idea what to get me, or if these ever went on sale, which kits unfortunately don't go on sale. Starting off strong with the one and only bathroom clutter, one of the most recent kits, and this is going into straight I hate these. I feel like there was some very odd decisions made in the design of this pack. Some objects feel super oversized, while some feel like too small in my opinion. The lights didn't actually have the light system tied to them. The candle was obviously glitched out. I think honestly you can get the same vibe with purely base game, and then if you have any other bigger packs, you can definitely get the same vibe. I don't hate everyday clutter as much. I don't think I would buy it. I know that not everyone can download custom content. I know not everyone has the option to do that. If you are a console player and you've been thinking like, hey, I need more clutter in this game, this isn't like directed at you personally. This isn't me being like, why did you buy that? Like, you shouldn't have bought that kit. I feel like anyone should have the freedom to download, purchase, get any kit that they want to get. This is just my own personal opinion, and I'm not a fan of the clutter kits. The pastel pop, this one, I really like the assets that came with it. Don't get me wrong, I do feel as if it was quite similar to high school years. For me, I feel like this one is a 50-50. I don't think I would have felt that I would need to buy this straight away, especially with high school years releasing just before it. I was like, I feel like I could get the same sort of appearance of a room with high school years. Honestly, I probably would have waited to pick this one up. I feel like the computer would have been my downfall, and maybe the mirror and bed as well. Simtimates collection, I'm gonna say this is also the same for me. I actually at first was like, I don't really use underwear all that often. And again, I really like the assets, don't get me wrong. I wish that that bodysuit was also a top. There's some things that I would change. I've talked about that in my Simtimates collection overview. I don't think I would have picked it up straight away, but I think eventually I would have been like, no, you know what? Like, I like what I've seen of this kit, and therefore I'm probably gonna pick it up. Or on the other hand, I would have gone CC shopping. Blooming rooms. I was actually very harsh on this kit when it came out, but but I have to say I've used it so much. A couple of the objects felt a little bit strange, but yes, I've really grown fond of this. My plants have grown, and also I have grown as a person with my opinions on blooming rooms. Don't get me wrong, if you don't use plants all that often, it's probably going to be a bust for you. This hanging plant in particular, the one that fits around the window, I use them in an awful lot of my builds. I absolutely love plants, so it's kind of not a surprise that I've grown fond of this. Yes, the objects are small. Yes, it still doesn't feel like it's worth the £5. Would I have personally picked it up? Yes. Bust the dust? Absolutely not. This one, I hate saying that it's like broken, but I know that it's still like overpowered, and I genuinely think it's broken, but in the opposite way now. I will hold my hands up and firmly say, once Bust the Dust came out, I turned off that option within my game options, and it has not been turned back on since this release. Apparently, this just like doesn't work now. Apparently, houses don't get dusty even if you turn the settings on. I know a lot of people were saying like this is overpowered, like the dust bunny bring in too much money, which they did, but like you don't expect to spend £5 on this and then just not have the main gameplay, because that was like the only gameplay was collecting dust, not work. Carnival streetwear. This one's tough because I only like some of the assets. I think this is fun. I think it is really good for when you're throwing like carnivals and if you're throwing like a pride festival in your game. I think it slips into that like very nicely. But honestly, I don't think I would have picked this one up. Just off the top of my head, but the masculine tagged full body romper, I think that's great. I absolutely love it. We don't have anything else like it in The Sims 4, so I really like it. Maybe I'm gonna put this one in 50-50. I think eventually there would have been some assets that I was like, I'm really missing, and if I couldn't find it as custom content, I would be like, you know what, I will eventually spend the £5 on this. Country kitchen. I feel like such an actual muppet saying this, as if the fecking marketing of this kit just worked on me. Like, they knew exactly what I wanted. They knew I wanted cottagecore, even though we got cottage living like what, like 2 or 3 months down the line after this released. I still really like the assets of this. I love the colors that they used on it, and even with cottage living in my game, I feel like I go towards this kitchen more than I do the cottage living one. The only thing that I genuinely think I would have caved on this for is the oven. So I'm gonna say no. I would probably put it like half and half, but I think I would try and resist it a lot more than some of these. I reject the idea of a country kitchen. Get your cottage core away from me. Courtyard Oasis. This one is interesting because this kit basically focused on like build mode. I think this fits in really well with Oasis Springs and also Tartosa a little bit as well, but I would never suggest buying my wedding stories purely based on Tartosa. So Courtyard Oasis, whilst I absolutely love it, I absolutely love the rep that this brought because it felt so different from anything within the game. I feel like Courtyard Oasis literally flounders its way through because there doesn't really feel like a world that's like dedicated to this build style. I feel like I don't really use it all that often, and that's probably on me, to be honest. I should probably use it more. So I'm gonna put it in no. Decor to the max. I was on the unpopular opinion on this one. I quite like this. A lot of people said that it felt like a headache to their eyes. I really love maximalism. I think it's very fun. I think it fits in really well if you have like a celebrity lifestyle. For me, this one is 50-50. I wouldn't be rushing out the door to buy this, no way. But I do think this felt different enough from like what we have within the game. Desert looks, I don't hate desert looks, but also I have no need for desert looks whatsoever. I rarely build like sort of like outdoors areas. I don't really like perfect patio stuff, and this kind of felt the same. I know some people were like, oh, I really like having more concrete like garden furniture. Again, there's a couple of nice assets in here, but it wouldn't compel me to spend £5 on this kit. And I feel like I can still kind of get the same essence of it with other packs that I already have, for example, like Snowy Escape and also Jungle Adventure, because they also sort of have that like concretey fireplace and things that actually look good outside for a comfortable area. Whenever I talk about fashion street kit, I feel like I always say I genuinely thought that I was going to use this a lot more than I did. This came out with Inshin Arrivals like at the same time, and I was like, I'm gonna get way more use out of Fashion Street. It does fit in nicely with City Living, I will say that, and I also think if you do want diversity within your creator sim, Fashion Street is a way to go. I don't actually use it all that often, however I don't like dislike it enough to put it straight into no. Again, I feel like this one would be half and half, but I'm gonna put it in 50-50. I prefer creator sim kits over build and buy kits, which is already, I feel, an unpopular opinion when it comes to kits, because I feel like everyone loves the build and buy mode kits, and then I'm just like, yeah, but like creator sim. First fits, this one, I like it. I have used it a fair bit, but I think I've used it because children are so lackluster in like the rest of the packs. I feel like this does kids basics very, very well. However, it is also like a very muted color palette, which kids don't honestly get all that often when it comes to The Sims 4. I'm gonna put this one in no. I think maybe eventually I would get my hands on it, but it wouldn't be top of my list. Like this would be one again that I would ask for as like a present, because I wouldn't want to spend my own money on it. Inshin Arrivals, yes, I've grown really fond of this. I feel like I use this on almost every single sim that I create. The items are just so good. They elevate creator sim. I would be lying if I didn't say that I had got my £5 worth out of this kit. Like even more than Blooming Rooms, I use this so frequently. If there was any kit that I was gonna like put my hand on heart and be like, I think if you create Sims and you like fashion, I would without a doubt tell you to get Inshin Arrivals. Industrial Loft, this was one that I kind of have to take my words back on, because when this came out, don't get me wrong, I didn't like some of the assets. I felt as if it was a little bit too like alpha-y on some of the swatches and like textures that we got. I really liked this at first, but now I'm like, it's kind of fallen to the back of my catalog. I don't really use it all that often. Maybe eventually I would have bought this one, but it's not one that would come to my forefront. Little Campers, she's fun, she's cute. I don't think she would be a buy straight away, but I do think she is a 50-50. Maybe more like half and half on this one. I think everything that they did in this was very, very good. I also love how they gave us kind of reskins of objects that we already had. I like how it has sort of small gameplay elements to it. Nothing new in terms of gameplay. I love the little fort that they created, and I also love like how you can set up little camp beds in there. I think it gives kids something to do, which is always really, really important to me in my Sims 4 game. Modern menswear, no, I hate these. I would never spend my money on this kit. Don't get me wrong, I have used some of the assets very infrequently though, I will say. I wanted like menswear to get the basics right. I feel as if basics have been lacking. Masculine Sims always get less than feminine tag stuffed in Create Sim. And whilst I do feel as if the team are working to make both objects like fit on both body frames, and they feel like they've put more effort into that recently, this just isn't it. Moonlight Chic, genuinely one of my biggest shockers. When this came out, I was like, don't really know how I feel about this. I like the assets, but I don't really think I'm ever gonna go out of my way to use them. This, like Inshin Arrivals, don't get me wrong, I don't use it half as frequently as Inshin Arrivals, I don't think, but I've used this on a lot of Sims. It's one of those kits that just lurks in my creator sim, and I'll see something and be like, oh wait, that is perfect. Throwback Fit Kit, I don't hate this one so much. I do use it pretty infrequently, but I do use it. However, it's going in no. I still stand by this one. I don't think we needed any more like fitness stuff within the game. And whilst it's done quite well, the clothes actually fit very well. The cohesiveness is there. Even like the trainers and stuff, I feel like we've got better ones recently, such as like Moonlight Chic, Inshin Arrivals. So there we have it. There's my roundup of would I actually spend my real life money on these kits. I know this video isn't going to be for everyone. I know that people are still dead set against kits, which is also fine. Like, I agree with you. I don't think kits should be as expensive as they are. I think it is kind of telling that I only have 3 like dead set ones that I'm like, no, you know what? I would put my money on this and I don't think I would end up regretting it. I promise you, this will probably be my last video on kits for a long while. I was like, this feels like a good time to do it. We've got 19 kits now. Obviously, that's like almost £100 within UK money. Oh my word. Okay, I absolutely would not have spent £100 on all of these kits. No, 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 no. The 3 that I put as like absolutely yes would cost £15, and that's still more than like paranormal stuff, because I'm fairly sure like stuff packs at the time that paranormal stuff was released cost $9.99, and that still probably had like way more assets than those 3 put together. Also, it had a lot of gameplay, which obviously those 3 kits that I mentioned didn't have any gameplay whatsoever. And if kits are even a higher price in your own currency, then obviously everything I've said here is just kind of like doubled, tripled in effect, because that's an awful lot of money for such a small amount of objects, especially objects that we've seen recently in like the bathroom clutter kit, for example, that aren't the highest quality. But I hope this video was helpful. I don't know if it was. This was basically made on my own opinion. Like, there is absolutely no outside forces at play here. And I hate telling people where they should or shouldn't spend their money, because that's not on me to decide as a human being. I can only worry about me and my bank account. But thank you all so much for tuning in. I promise until we get some new kits down the line, I'll just be doing like overviews on them until we get like maybe another 10 kits in a year or so, probably, the way that kits are being put out right now. I might do another one of these. I might not. Who knows? Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm gonna stop rambling now, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye.